Hey everyone, Les from Comfortable Shoes Studio here, and I'm going to do a little portrait drawing. I might talk as I work. I am going to draw this person a couple of different ways using a couple of different materials, just to get some experimentation in here. Um, I'm still using this sketchbook that I got for work. Man, this is a disaster in here. God, I made a mess. So anyway, I'm going to draw this person a couple of different ways. So yeah, I'm still using this sketchbook, um, and I'm really enjoying it. This is from my last video, and yeah, all right, I'm just going to work here. Like I said, I'm going to draw her in a couple of different ways. I'm going to start out with a little bit of an underdrawing here, which is something I don't generally do. So I'm using a non-photo blue pencil, and again, I don't know how much of that you can actually see on camera. I think I was able to see some of it when I was editing, but that doesn't always translate to the final video. You have to excuse my sniffles. I caught the cold going around the office, and been sick all weekend. Fortunately, not particularly sick, but yeah, little sick, but enough that it changed my weekend plans, that's for sure. So I'm doing a little bit more detail than I'd really planned here. That's the case, I think, with this. I haven't drawn a portrait. Well, I've drawn a few over the last few weeks, so I guess I can't say I haven't drawn a portrait from Earth's World. It's Earth's World is the photographer that takes these photos at county fairs all over the US, it seems like. There's some from Oregon and I think some from Florida. So yeah, I don't know. I find it nice to see like normal everyday people and not airbrushed celebrities to draw. So I'm still really digging this non-photo blue pencil. It's a good color, it erases well, and works just really nicely on this paper. Um, so, no complaints about this non-photo blue. All right, pretty happy with that as an underdrawing. I guess I'm trying to decide what I really want to do with that. What technique do I want to experiment with here? What have I done? Hmm. Actually, I think I'm going to go with watercolors and I'm gonna do an earthy monochromatic, so all shades of red for this one. I'm gonna go in with my big wide brush here, and I will use some color opposites to tone stuff down, but that is. I haven't tried this particular brush before, so it is a new cheapy water brush that I've never tried. So now the downside of this particular paper for using it with watercolors is that once the color is down, it does not lift, it doesn't move particularly well. So we're stuck with it where it lands. A little orange shadow situation going on. And I am working wet into wet here. And I know there's going to be a few people out there screaming about me doing this. There always are. I like this. I like wet into wet. I know it's not for everyone. Um, I like what happens with the color. I know the color is going to move around. That's not a secret when you're working wet into wet. It's going to move. That's okay. You just have to be prepared for that. All right, let's move into some darker colors. Again, doing that wet into wet. Again, going for vibes, not realism here. And I'm noticing like this paper is just not standing up to this particularly well. That's okay. I guess I'm just realizing like when it comes to this, um, this paper does not like being worked again and again. All right, so I got my reds, yellows, and oranges in there. I'm gonna pull out some of these earthy colors. Let's see. Yeah, these three. This one. I'll use some of that earthy. So if I were, I don't know that I'm gonna stick with a true monochromatic here. I don't think it really works in these colors. So definitely I'm gonna add a little bit of whatever color this is. It's super dark blue for her hair. Yeah, that'll work. Her hair is really dark black. And yes, this is probably going to bleed into the side of the face there. It's okay by me. Get some of that dark blue. Work around the earrings. I'm going to go in. I think her eyes are probably not blue, but this is a good dark shade. Yeah, this blue is a good shadow color. All right. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm gonna set those. I got this sponge that I use to clean my brush out on. This water brush is okay. Not my favorite for sure. Now, for cleaning out my brushes, I have been using really cheapy sponges to do that. It works really well. We're going to go back into this with the bold Uniball and bring out some of those details that are, I'm going to add cross hatching, some just harder lines. Hatching for the hair, and I went a little extra on her hair here on this side. That's okay. It's a great thing about art. You can kind of add stuff as we see fit, especially since I'm going for vibes and not realism. It's really dark in there, so we're going to add some more cross hatching over the blue and soften that line with some hatching and get this ear a little more defined, and then add in the hair that softens those edges. And then also add in hatching in here. And because her hair is black and the shirt is black, they kind of blend, even though I differentiated with lighter blue there. To make sure my Kindle doesn't shut off. It keeps telling me it's time for a break. So I've got the time. Stop it. I don't want to change it right now. All right. So this is from Earth's World on Instagram. Try to remember to link to this. All right, so let's get this in a third way. All right, I'm gonna go straight in with my bold 207. The thing that I like about this sketchbook is that I can flip it so that every side I work on is nice and flat. All right, so I love these Uniball bold pens. The ink just really flows out, and you get deep black and really great shading with them. So what I do when I am doing this kind of drawing direct with a pen is I am seeking out shapes. And looking for areas of light and dark. Now, typically, when I am working like this, I am not specifically yet looking for shadow, but in this instance, it's part of the shape around the eye and gives it form. So I'm putting it in there now, or a little bit of it. Same with the nose, looking for shapes. I'm adding in some hatching to kind of give those form to the shapes that are already here. I feel like if I skip that at this point, then it's not that I'll lose them, but I think it's good to just add it. So again, just kind of search around this face for lines and shape. Just kind of scowling. She's got a great face for being able to see the scowling. Not everyone has a face where you can see that so easily. It's one of the reasons I like drawing people who are older and really avoid drawing younger people. Um, Younger people don't have as many lines in their face or instances for like wrinkles. Younger people, they are really kind of smooth faced, which, that's what you want to be when you're young, I guess. And then when I draw older people, there's just so much more there to draw. And I say older people, I mean like people my age and above. So, and part of what I am doing, or what I always do as I do these drawings, is I am kind of editing the image so it's more interesting and dynamic, you know. So her ear is a little too high. That's okay. Again, not getting perfection here. That's just not a reality. Okay. So now that I've got that, got a cast shadow here. All right. So we got that. Now, this is a situation where another brush pen. This one's almost empty. That's ink on it. We're gonna fill this up. Here's these little squeezy bottles. They hold a couple of fills. That just lets me fill that right up. So, all right. And I'm just gonna use black watercolor on this. So I'm gonna wet that up. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's nice and black. I'm gonna add in our darkest areas with that soup. There we go. That's I'll look for some shades of gray here. This is great. So I'm kind of using this as an ink wash. I don't know what I did with my ink wash brushes, but I do have some brushes that I have filled with ink and several tones, and they work great if I know where they are. So don't be like me, put your supplies away in places where you can find them. doing a little lifting here. That was far too dark. All right, what I'm really enjoying about this, especially about ink wash, is how graphic it makes an image just super, like, super deep, super dark. Um, just get a lot of really deep blacks in there. And I know this isn't ink wash, but it's definitely giving that look. This particular watercolor is very dark when it's wet, and I'm really digging it. All right, there. I think I want a little bit more dark in there, a little darker line in there. I get some shadow here, slightly lighter tone. Yeah, I'm digging this black and white, particularly for this portrait. Um, Making her look pretty severe, but I mean, you can entirely change the tone of an image like this through adding black and white or color. Like, this woman will look drastically different if like this was done in tones of pink, right? So yeah, fill that in slightly darker. All right. Um, clean out that brush. Pulled some blue out of it. Really digging that. And I'm going to do one more image of this woman. And I'm gonna force myself to use these. These are the mixed media sticks. They're basically a tempera stick. And I think, ooh, what do I want to do? Um, I think I want to try purples and blues and pinks. I think I want to do, so I'm going to force myself to work in big shapes with this. And I'm going to start with pink. That's going to be my mid-tone for this. And so the hard thing with this is these are very imprecise. So I will go back into it or into the image with some pen to tighten up the details. Because again, these are not for detail work. You get really broad strokes with this, and yeah, again, these exercises are about trying to find the lines. It's about learning how to see and learning, how to capture an image that I like instead of, getting super caught up in realism. Because we are gonna go back into this and flesh it out a little bit. But yeah, these are not, they don't lend themselves to detail at all. Um, so with this color, coming in here and I'm adding more of the shadows, overlaying that pink a little bit to get more of that shadow colors. So I'm gonna add some blue in there. All right. I'm gonna use this big brush again to kind of move stuff around. And it's definitely going to soften a lot of this. And as I've learned with this particular media, I really need to soften it and spread it. Otherwise, when I go back in and add the pen, the pen is just going to glide over the top and skip a lot. So I got to get some of that greasiness from the mixed media sticks off the page. And this stage of this material is very off-putting in my opinion. Right now, like I just took all those blocks and I'm smudging them and smearing them, and it is going from having some shape and form to pretty messy, I would say. It's a little tight there, I think, but now it's very loose and hardly looks like anything. And the hard part is going to be going back into this with my pens and making it look like something, you know? All right. So I'm back with my bold uniball. And if you've skipped through, I am working from a image on Earth's World uh, from Instagram. So now I'm just coming in here, adding some lines to kind of define this person's face a little bit. And I am having some issues with the pen on some of the areas where I applied a pretty thick layer of the mixed media stick. So I knew that was going to happen. So yeah, still getting some of that mixed media stick slippery texture on the page. So I'm just going to try and use it to my advantage and let the kind of skippiness of the pen work for me. I do like kind of the texture the pen gives on this kind of greasy same thing down here, really getting some of that greasy texture is really giving the pen a run for its money. Does not want to stick well. And I am getting some blobbing, which is one of the downsides, I think, to this pen is that um, when it does have issues, it is prone to giving you some blobs. But for my money, I can't say that I found a better bold pen out there. Um, yes, the Uniball does a particularly good job 99% of the time. So the few times it doesn't, I guess I'll just suffer. Now, this might be a time when a fountain pen would be a better choice, especially one with a fude nib. Um, I think that would probably work a little better in this application. Um, but I don't have mine inked and ready to go today. So wasn't really planning to do this today. So not as prepared as usual. All right, I'm going to add in some of the cross hatching and stuff in the face. Oh, gotta get that ear in there. All right, let's come back up, get some of this cross hatching in. Really trying to define out the darker areas. Again, a brush or fountain pen would probably be better in this application. But I think this really, using a gel pen to bring out the details and add in some rough cross hatching. Actually, I'm digging this, the kind of rough, broken up lines I'm getting um, due to the greasiness of those mixed media sticks. I'm really liking that a lot. I think it adds a lot of like interesting texture to the hair, the face, and it's not boring, that's for sure. But I think the addition of color to this phase really changes up um, the look of the drawing. I mean, I don't know if you can tell that it's the same person or that it comes from the same source, but I think this is always a useful exercise to draw the same subject a bunch of times. Really, you get to know that subject really well, and forces you to consider like where you're going to put lines, how you're going to define the face. This side of the face is much more in shadow than the other side. Again, I'm really liking that broken up texture. In cross hatching over the ear. Right, yeah, I'm really liking that. More. All right. All right. So, again, that's all from Earth's World on Instagram. So, here's the first version of it. You can really see also, like, I get more warmed up as I go through this. So, this one's pretty stiff. Um, this one, a lot cleaner. I like the texture in this one. This one's super graphic. I really like that. All right. So I like the granulation in this black watercolor paint. I don't usually use black watercolor paint, but this reminds me of like Sumi ink and how it responded, probably in ivory black. So that's super cool. I'm going to keep that in my back pocket and think about using that in the future. Um, really liking this with the mixed media sticks, forcing myself to work loose and then tighten it up. So anyway, that's what I got. One face 3 different ways. Maybe you'll test that out, try it, and see if you like it. If you enjoyed this video, hit the thumbs up. Give you a like. If you really like the video, super appreciate it if you shared this video with someone who might find it helpful. That really helps to grow the channel, get those watch hours up, and I really appreciate it. So with that, I'm going to say thanks, and I'll see you next time. Bye.